Equestria Girls 4 Legend of Everfree. Can we get an EQG movie without somebody going magical she demon?
Probably not.
And why do all the magical she-demons look the same?
Not exactly the same, but yes, there is a striking
They all have, they all have
coincidence.
the same formation, basically.
Yes, essentially, somebody abuses magic, the magic abuses them, they turn into a she demon, and they do that. Except the sirens, who were just evil to begin with. Still turn into she demons, but
They turned into actual pony she-demons.
yeah. So I mean, yeah,
They were the only ones who turned into actual pony she-demons.
Rawr.
but so carrying on, we start off with Twilight in her room, where she might be tardy.
No.
No! Oh my god! Anyway, Rarity tells us that even if she was going to the moon, she'd want to pack an evening gown. Really?
Hey.
Really?
It's always evening on the moon.
And the moon is always out. um, but we find out
Although ask
it's.
about how many parties they have over there. She'd know.
Um, oh, yeah, okay, anyway. So, Midnight Sparkle returns as a figment of her dream. If you're familiar with Bleach, she reminds me a little bit of oh, well, I'll just call him Shiro. You'll not Toshiro, Shiro. People who watch it know what I mean. Um, but is Midnight Sparkle really in there, or is it just a manifestation of her guilt? Sunset has some experience with this sort of redemption, so it's good to have her around for this movie. It's really good to have her around. Apparently, the at this point the animators have just gone. You know what? If we're gonna have Lyra, we always have Bon Bon nearby, because like the entire time, I think they ride on the bus together. They tent together. It's like yes, yes, we get it. You understand the Lyra Bond ship. Um, but they're sitting next to each other on the bus as Twi wakes up. Apparently, the sisters went into the woods as well. So I mean, they're not ancient, which is kind of interesting. Like, so
Yeah.
is there the Luna and Celestia of of, of Horse World are millennia old, and the and these two sisters just happened to be born around the time needed for them to be principal and vice principal at CHS.
Well, if you think about it, horses have shorter lifespans than humans, so they grow up faster. So technically, a comparative age range, they could be the same age, and all that could have happened generations ago, and therefore considered thousands of years, perhaps a day or year on in Equestria is different from a day and year in Earth world because of the temporal differential with horses aging.
Okay. Let's see. Then we get
I
the
grew up sci-fi.
okay. Well, anyway, uh, the Legend of Everfree theme is nice. I like it. It's a bit of country and choral. It's nice. Good for
Yeah,
the.
it had a certain tunage that sounded very familiar to me, but I can't put my finger on it.
You're really cutting. You were kind of
Sorry.
at the end.
It had a certain tunage that sounded familiar to me, but I couldn't put my finger on it.
Okay. Uh, and then we're gonna get the return of the no offense running gag after Minky mentions all the problems they faced, including two demon friends. To which Sunset relies, you'll get used to it. It's like, and they all came in with some different ideas of what they wanted out of this trip. AJ wanted to do some roughing it, you know, foraging and that sort of outdoorsy stuff. That makes sense. Spike just wanted to chase squirrels. Fluttershy, obviously, nature walks. And Rarity just wanted some downtime. Though she ended up wanting to do a fashion show. Okay, where did the fabric come from for all this stuff?
She packed it.
Slavery, I mean,
Packs.
who knows?
She does overpack, so I guess that's that's that.
I never go anywhere without an evening gown at least. So perhaps she just packs spare fabric. I mean, I know when I go to conventions I do that.
At any rate, uh, so Flash Sentry helps Twy with her backpack. Is awkward. Cool story, bro. I don't remember exactly what that was from. I guess it. I think it came out something to that effect came out. It's like to from him about something he was over explaining or something. Sunset explains Flash's awkwardness. Apparently, both.
Or long distance relationships never work.
Yes. Though it seems like he might be getting back with Sunset. And since he's
Maybe.
reformed, that's a possibility. It's like giving up on Pony Twy and going, hey, Sunset, we used to have a thing. You're
Yes.
no longer evil.
You must just have a thing for ponies.
And you're technically not a pony, so is it considered bestiality?
She's in a sentient human body at this point. I don't think so.
And furry worlds is they can give cognitive consent. It's not bestiality.
It's the Jack Harkness test. It's like
Yeah.
look that up. I forget what the three.
Yeah.
There's like 3 conditions to it, and if it passes the Jack Harkness test, it's fine.
Is it conscious? Is it sentient? And can it give consent? I think those are the 3.
Yeah, or something. Is it old enough to give consent? Can it communicate effective consent? And and there, it's one of those was in there too. I forget, but yeah, the Jack Harkness test. Look it up. Yeah, Jack Harkness test. Look it up. See, bulk biceps suggests arts and crafts. Kind of subverting what you'd think he would be asking about. Apparently, his mom needs new pot holders. So, Twy, the Twy of this world, got a thing for the camp counselor. Got a thing for Timber.
Eh,
Yeah,
just a little.
his name is Timber, or something. It's Timber something, but Timber. I'll leave the rest up to the imagination. Um, though it is a bit awkward in that he's also, you know, is how much older than them is he? I mean, considering they're running the camp, there could be some problems there. But anyway, uh, I I do love the bit of retort between um, Luna and Celeste when they're talking about their class's uh, gift, which was a sundial. Some thought it was some thought it was impractical because it couldn't be used at night. uh, I thought that was interesting. Still, you still have their affiliations. Still a bit subverted, and then she cared about that. But anyway, so Timber's openly flirting with her, and if you look at some of the room cards they use to draw who's going to be with who, they're reused element assets like Pinky's blue balloon mark. Ashley Ball rooms with herself because you get Dash and Applejack sharing a room. The two demon friends room together. So Lyra Bond room together, all that.
I don't know if that should be sanctioned.
What? Whatever could you mean?
Right.
They're just really good friends.
And
Yeah,
the rooms the root from that tent totally prove that.
yeah, they're totally not
But they're just having a pillow fight, sure.
together to take over.
They're just the best of friends. They're just really, really good friends that they really liked each other's company. We'll just leave it at that. Filthy Rich shows up in a limo, and there's a little, what's going on behind the scenes? Something else is there. There's a little something going on. Spike exposes that Twilight has nightmares, which lead to random items beginning to float in the tent, which Twi wants to hide from the others, but they all start to kind of pick up these abilities. Sunset has a brief brush with telepathy, contact telepathy. She's got to be in physical contact. And we get even more flirting when Twilight's caught by Timber after a broken board makes her trip. He says, "You don't have to fall for me." Which, if I knew your age, I could gauge whether this was really creepy or not.
Yeah, right.
We're are we talking a year? He's like a year older than her. Are we talking a few years? Is he like an adult? And
at that age, a few years can still mean a lot. Like, yeah. an 18-year-old with a 16-year-old is still really bad.
Yeah, the earlier you go, the more that difference is important. The older you get, the less the age difference matters. But yeah, when they're that young, the age difference can cause some problems. Particularly legal ones for Timber. Anyway, but I still like his puns. He's got some pretty good puns.
Yeah.
So Sunset.
Maybe we should pun pony.
So Sunset and Flash have another conversation of him needing to get over Twi. Sunset's really being a straight shooter. Silverquill mentioned this in another. He had like a special on Sunset, and this was one of the things he mentioned, and I think I like that. This is really showing off that part of her. Uh, so AJ suggests the practical in repairing the dock. Rainbow rallies the troops and her loyalty to CHS's reputation. You know, that's one of
Yeah.
Rainbow's talents is to get people psyched up and get people, she's got a good commanding shout. Come on!
Get to work, you lazy bums!
But then AJ is completely impractical and makes her own hammer. It's like asking Rainbow, "Where'd you get your hammer? From the toolbox? I made mine."
Doesn't she realize how impractical it is to not use what's available to you? It's like, just because you're roughing it doesn't mean you don't bring things with you. You don't actually use the tools available.
It was a very goofy thing, but it was kind of funny. I like the homemade hammer. It's kind of funny.
Yes,
Well,
but my point still stands.
Yes.
She was stupid.
Well, okay, so we get to the campfire. Bulk, Snips, and Snails hug in fear. Apparently, they're hanging with Bulk, which this is one of those things that came up as well from some fans. Is why are Snips and Snails there? They're part of the Cutie Mark Crusaders class, not Twilight and the other main 7's class. So why are they there?
Yes. Why aren't Snips and Snails? I mean, or why aren't the rest of those guys there?
Yeah, either the CMC are missing from it, or Snips and Snails shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
But but that's another thing. That if they are starting, and one of the things I was going to say is, if they are hanging out with Bulk now, that would be an improvement on their previous mentors. Because you had Trixie. While great and powerful, probably not the best role model. And then they had Then in the movies they had Sunset. At the time, not the best role model. Bulk Biceps is at least, there's nothing particularly wrong with him. He's excitable and loves weightlifting, but other than that, there's nothing particularly wrong with him. So we get the legend of Gaia Everfree, spirit of the forest. She leaves a gem dust trail wherever she goes. And apparently Timber's ancestors were trespassers, according to the story. So we get past that, and Twy wakes up from another midnight nightmare, levitating things. So we're starting to see these powers pick up. The wind picks up and shoves a boat right into the dock, wrecking it. For the first time. As it quite often it seems to be having a problem of breaking down a few times during this whole thing.
Maybe they shouldn't have had high school students build it.
Well, it's never the structural integrity that's the problem. It's something happens to the dock. Somebody just it's a fine dock, and then they destroy it.
If it's that destroyed that easily,
A boat rammed into it at high speed.
it would have made a dent, but a well-made dock wouldn't have shattered like that completely.
I suppose, but it's
Maybe the
it's never
explosives at the very end. You know, the confetti
Yeah,
explosives.
that makes sense. I mean,
that one makes sense, but
but
that just like shattered. That means somebody wasn't hammering the nails properly or something.
or they made it out of balsa wood.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
it's never actually just falling apart on its own. Something is happening to it. Trixie tries to command the spirit of Gaia Everfree. It doesn't work. Let's see. Okay, there we go. But there's a little purple trail of gem dust in the water. Is it real? Is it fake? Twilight runs off alone, what they told her not to do, into the woods to sing Midnight in Me. It's a nice song to convey her feelings and kind of what's going on with her. Which she then quickly runs into Timber again, and the flirting continues. Yeah.
Well, it's not a. It's a sappy love.
You're really quiet, Madrock.
It's not a love scene unless there's sappy. It's not a kid's show unless there's sappy love scenes in it.
You can have a kid show without a sappy love scene in it.
Ah.
But then we cut back to Rarity and AJ doing rock climbing. AJ's got the rope. They both manifest magic. AJ apparently manifested super strength, while Rarity knocks her away with like a magical wave that's shaped like a diamond. So she's becoming able to cast barriers and knock things away. We see Pinky.
Awesome power to have.
Yeah, Pinky tosses. What's a fabulous power to have to throw magical diamond barriers. Let's see. Pinky is apparently Gambit now. Because
Her power is scary. Can you imagine
Well,
how easy it is for it to go wrong?
yeah, well, she's actually kind of.
Strong hands like Pinkie Pie's.
It's like, hey, Pinky, can you toss me that real quick? Here, my hands!
Well, yeah, she's kind of Gambit mixed with a little bit of Jubilee in there too, with the little how sparkly it is, but mostly Gambit, but only works with sprinkles.
Yeah, and Rarity is Jean, only without the telepathy.
Yeah, AJ's too generic with just plain super strength. There's nobody who's really only super strength, I don't think. I mean,
So is Rainbow Dash. Who looked
well,
at it as
Rainbow,
a
you could say she's the
speed.
Flash. She's basically the Flash.
Actually, she'd be Quicksilver if we're doing the mutant association, because
Yeah.
the Flash, metahuman, not a mutant.
Well, if you guys
Because the
split
Flash
hairs
gained
about it,
power space.
Well, I was just saying Rainbow Dash is generic because there's like a ton of speedsters.
yeah,
In each fandom, yes. But
Yes.
if we were basing X-Men, it's the only one I know of directly would be Quicksilver.
yeah. If you're going Marvel
the-
Quicksilver, if you're going
be-
DC Flash,
Mm-hmm.
No, there's like about
Superman,
there's about
Supergirl, most of the superheroes who have actual powers have some sort of super speed.
yeah,
yeah.
and Usually, whenever somebody has super strength, it's usually coupled with something else. Superman
like
has super strength, but it's coupled with everything else he has. He checked all of the above when when they were handing out powers.
Yeah.
But let's see. Fluttershy manifests her Doctor Doolittle powers.
Her Snow White powers.
I suppose.
Talking about very woodland animals.
Let's see. So the camp seems to be something to do with. Go ahead.
My question is, why did she just keep her hands up? She could have just lowered her hands and the birds would have flown away.
But being in the camp seems to manifest the special abilities because Rainbow got far away from the camp with her super speed, and it kind of went away, and then she came back. When she got within a certain radius, she got her powers back. So it seemed to have something to do with the area or something in the area. Twilight seems to think it's her magic infecting others. So
Careful, it's contagious.
Yes.
Why didn't the great, powerful Trixie get it then?
You don't
That's
spend
not
enough time with
fair.
Twilight.
Oh, Twilight, let's get implemented.
Oh, good grief. This is the safe stream.
No, it's her protege. Duh. I mean, what?
At any rate, so we get to we have some floating lanterns that are kind of cool, but after Twilight tries to leave camp on her own, but she's stopped by Sunset, who again manifests her telepathy with when she grabs her. Timber shortly thereafter shows up with an axe cutting firewood.
If he's the one putting the sparkles everywhere, the gems everywhere, how did they get in the water? Because he wasn't near there.
Yeah. Which at this point, yeah, he has gem dust following him. Sunset suspects he might be trying to run people off to sell. But again, an odd bit of, trying to be a red herring a little bit there. What we find out at the end.
Also, with the floating lanterns, Pinkie Pie must have a super immunity because she just drops those marshmallows all over the ground and eats them.
Yeah, she's rule of funny. She's like, rule of funny kind of. She runs off of rule of funny. If it's funny, she can do it. It doesn't matter if it makes sense or not. Is it funny? Okay, then that's her superpower. That's another. She got two superpowers. She's got rule of funny, and the gambit thing. She, if it's funny enough, she can break the laws of physics. So Pinkie decides to throw some nails, as they're fixing the dock again. And everyone takes cover because they fear it's basically a fragmentary grenade. She just tossed a grenade, basically.
I think her power has something to do with the size of the objects. Because the larger objects she throws don't actually explode. When she throws smaller things like confetti or sprinkles, that's what explodes. So it could be a supercharging mechanism. I'm going sci-fi, sorry.
I
but
thought
it
she
could
only
be
ever blew up things that were sprinkles. Did she ever throw?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if it's only sprinkles,
yeah.
maybe she's a one
thought it was
ammunition gun. She can blow up
I
sprinkles.
thought it was confetti at the very end when she blew up the dock. I
I
thought
thought
she
it
was
was sprinkles.
confetti all excitedly.
At any rate, yeah, there's limitations on what ammunition actually works with her abilities. Um, Unlike Gambit, I mean, he uses cards, but he can do other things. It just has to be there's limitations probably. I don't know all his limitations, but I know
He does
cards are really
what
easy for him.
he what it is he supercharges it. He doesn't actually, just cause them to explode. He causes
Yeah,
a hyperagitation in the molecules, which cause them to explode upon impact. He's done it with. He actually has a special staff that he tends to use, at least in the '90s cartoon,
yeah,
that like glows red and blows shit up because of transference of energy.
yeah. Yeah, he was. Yeah, I remember the staff and I remember the cards. I just didn't ever remember him doing anything else, using anything else other than the cards.
On a few
I
occasions, he has like touched things to cause them uh, to like melt or explode or whatever. Like to open doors and stuff. But usually it's the cards because they're easy to carry and easy to throw.
yeah, and it's a bit of a calling card. Huh? Huh? Though his calling card does explode, so it's not a really great calling card. Anyway,
Unless it's that one.
so Sunset looks into Pinky's mind with her contact telepathy. It's
Oh
exactly
dear
what you
God, that
expect.
part.
It's exactly what you expect. It's like you look at it, you're like, you know what? Yeah, that's
That
Pinky,
explains so much.
and so little at the same time. So then Sunset sings her little song about embracing the magic. Use their magic, use their gifts for good. Essentially, don't run from these abilities. Learn to use them for
Xavier.
good things.
She's Professor Xavier.
Basically, I mean, she doesn't
Just
have
embrace your
distance
magic.
stuff, but
She's a telepath that makes the rest of them embrace their magic, embrace their superpowers.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, embrace your magic so one day we may take over this place.
They're the Sunset Girls instead of the X-Men. The S Girls. There we go.
the Sunset School for Gifted Youngsters. Sunset Shimmer School for Gifted Youngsters. Oh. Alright, anyway. Let's see. Alright, we're on page 3. Let's see. Alright, yeah. Sunset looks for Twy, but finds the sibling counselors. Flash shows back up and tries to draw out what Sunset is thinking about. But, yeah, he gets shut down by Sunset unintentionally. And you know things have gone poorly when Derpy is consoling you. When Derpy consoles Flash for getting shut down.
Although it isn't called Dirty in this. If you look at the end credits, her name is Muffins.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
her official Hasbro name is Muffins at this point. They've gone to that because it's not controversial. Nobody's gonna get mad about a
Guys,
pony named Muffins.
Derpy is too offensive.
It's not politically correct to call somebody Derpy.
Oh, God, political correctness. It's a bunch of bullshit. Anyway,
Yeah. So Sunset and Twy head to the Forbidden Rock Quarry, which explains to some extent Timber's knowledge of rocks. As he plays around in the rock quarry, you might find some interesting things.
He just likes getting stoned.
But yeah, Gloriosa gets her mind read.
to it, it's
Filthy Rich gives her until the end of the month to catch up on the missing payments, or he'll take it over and build a spa. If her parents have
Sheesh,
kind of
Filthy Rich is an ass in this in his human form.
he usually is though.
what makes me interested is okay. It seems like his Timber's ancestors have had the land for a really long time. Why do they owe Filthy Rich money? I guess maybe they took a loan out against the property, and
Maybe
that's what it came about. But it doesn't make sense if they just own the property outright. Why he would be
maybe they
threatening
use
to?
property as collateral to help fix it up.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with is the probable
Yeah.
solution to that. But it's just something
And
that.
they didn't pay back the loan soon enough, and he's a loan shark, so boom.
But anyway. But yeah, he
It
wants to
was
take it
tough
over
to
and
give them payments on it, their loan, instead of having to pay it outright, probably to gain more interest.
well, anyway. But he's going to try and take it over and build a spa. So Gloriosa found gems in the quarry, not unlike the elements. She's blown back on her back by their power. She tries to use the crystals for herself, but is clumsy with it, causing some of the problems we've seen with the boat and whatnot. But Timber was covering for her. So, in desperation, she takes the last two little geodes, and those last two completely consume her with the power. Gloriosa seals them in the quarry with tying them up with vines and putting a rock in front of the door.
Holy shades of Maleficent, Batman.
Rarity, in the meantime, Rarity starts her rehearsal for her little fashion show. AJ is being a little tsundere about liking the dress or whatever. I forget what she gave her exactly.
It's like shorts. I thought it was more like shorts and
Yeah,
over the shoulder 80s style top.
yeah, I think that's what it was too. I couldn't remember what it was that she gave her, so I just generically said dress because generally that's what Rarity makes. Um,
That works for any kind of clothing.
but
Ensemble.
let's see. And so we saw next magical runaway she demon throwing up huge walls of thorns.
Yep.
I like the song "We Will Stand for Everfree." It reminds me very much of it's like a classic Disney villain song.
Mm-hmm.
And as they start to use their powers, they start to pony up. Back in the quarry, Spike frees them from the vines holding them. Do or do not, there is no try, as Twy lifts the boulder out of the way. Reach out with your feeling. Reach out with your feelings. Twilight fights past her past in the darkness with the help of the Six and goes full alicorn. Everyone gets a shard and transforms to defeat the villain. Which, they're kind of nice. They're going to crowdfund to save the... Go ahead.
Well, a third of their crew was villains at some point.
Not quite a third, but yeah, pretty much. There's 7 of them, and so 2 out of them, but that's splitting hairs. But yeah,
Careful, Angel Bunny like that.
Well, sometimes you want to, you feel like you should split hairs, but that particular
Yeah,
hair. But we shall.
I'm not fond of bunnies, so yeah.
But moving on. Um, but yeah, everyone gets a shard and transforms. It's a big emotional scene. It's cool new costumes. They defeat, they defeat Gloriosa. Uh,
It's an interesting name, Gloriosa.
yeah. So they decide to crowdfund to save the camp. Um, and in order to help make the money, they're going to hold a crystal ball. I wonder what that'll say about the future. Carlos. Anyway, um,
Mm.
the rain booms play as they prepare. We get Dash delivers at high speed. She's Quicksilver with the Flash, which we're gonna go with it. But they all use their powers in some way to prepare. Get some cool outfits, and we get Timber and Twy flirt a bit. They were going to have a kiss in there, but he was blocked by his sister. He said, "I need you to talk to these people." And
Wait.
let's see. And after the credits, we find out they've remade the dock,
And blow it
and
up again.
Pinky blows it up again. Um, but we also find out that magic is leaking from a crack in the top of the school statue, and that's where all the magic is coming out in.
I thought the statue was missing, and that's what caused the leak.
Well, yeah, the statue kind of stand
Base.
in the base, yeah, is where the mirror is leaking magic into the Equestria Girls world. But yeah, so now they have the
My question is it because the statue is missing then? Because, it's leaking from the crack where the statue was? Or is it because of the kind of fix they did so that Twilight can get through more frequently?
I think it's more to do with there's uh, the statue cracked the base, and the base was holding it, and the destruction of the statue also broke a hole in the top of it, and that's how the magic is leaking out. That's my thought on it.
Because the in the first Equestria Girls, it was kind of implied that it wasn't the statue itself or even the base, but that one panel that was the gate. It was more of a portal than an actual gateway.
Yeah, but the way it's leaking from the base. If it was leaking, it's leaking from like the top of it, not from the portal itself.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what I had to say. I think that's all the notes I had on Legend of Everfree. It was an alright movie. I mean, it was nothing spectacular, but there was nothing terrible about it. Basically, they have a Deus Ex Machina now and civilian powers, where they can do stuff. They can, super strength, super speed, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But only when they have their gemstones nearby.
Well, they're now little lockets that they're carrying around. So,
but I mean,
they have
only
them with them. So they'll have, as long as they have their lockets, they'll have the powers.
So all the next baddie needs is to steal all their lockets.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Oh, there's one little extra meme I forgot about. Like in the ending dance theme, uh, there's Bulk is doing a he's doing a weird kind of dance, and it's actually kind of based on. I think it's a Viking dancing guy or something. I don't know what I can remember, but it's an old YouTube video where he's doing that really dance. I'd have to look it up again, but that's also a little reference in there, which is kind of fun.
You know what would have been funny? Instead of getting the powers that they got, if they got the powers that their pony selves got in the Power Ponies episode.
Eh, I like these powers better because I think they fit.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
They fit better.
Super speed. Pinkie Pie with super speed always bothered me.
Yeah. Explosions. Yeah, that's Equestria Pinky as well. Lots of explosions. Um, Rarity with their barriers. I mean, that doesn't really fit as much, but it's okay. It's not bad. Twilight levitating things. She does that on the regular. Sunset
well,
being.
actually, with Rarity, if you kind of look at it, she does kind of have the same powers she did in Power Ponies because she does make constructs,
Yeah, I suppose.
kind
But,
of.
but like what she has normally outside of Power Ponies. She's usually just she's a gem detector. There's not really that's not much of a it's a superpower, yes, but it's not a
Not
really
really.
useful one for what they want to do.
Yeah, in Equestria Girls, it's not in Equestria Girls world. It's not really useful. So creating gems instead is a far more plausible and useful
Yeah.
power.
Yeah.
Although Sunset's teleempathy is a little interesting because what was her main power, like in Equestria? She was Celestia's prize student before Twilight, yes. So she would technically be older than them.
Yeah, slightly older.
But yet she's still the same age. Anyway.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
try
so,
not to
hey,
dwell on that.
So again, with the whole age transference between horses and humans, she may have been older as a pony. She still would only be a few months older or something in human terms. So,
Sorry.
maybe she was born during the whatever time thing, so that she was still a year behind what she would have been.
Yeah, and the rest of them make sense. Fluttershy, that's essentially she just got the same kind of base abilities that Fluttershy has. You know,
And
Applejack, strength, yes.
Same with AJ and Rainbow Dash. They got the same powers as they usually get.
Yeah. Dash with speed is pretty obvious. I do love to see
Hey.
Applejack throw rocks around. Just, nope, over there.
So,